I've been speaking a lot about the MOU on the Persian show. I did an interview with an FDD expert. I don't know if you guys saw that. That went very well. Earlier today, we did a stream with Edmund Fitton Brown. I think I pronounced his name right, right? Yeah, so he is a senior fellow at FDD with over 30 years of frontline diplomatic and intelligence experience. So if you guys want to go watch that, it's on Liberty Politics YouTube channel. Earlier, I did that interview. I think it went very well. Great. Okay, Casey saying great interview. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Casey. I've been speaking about it, the MOU on the Persian channel with my audience inside Iran. So I know all the internal dynamics within the, internal politics of the Islamic Republic and all the chaos it's causing over there. Um, and, speaking to Israelis about it, looking at the analysts and what they think. And I really want to get your takes on multiple different topics within the MOU. First of all, do you think is it going? Are we going into the right direction? Are we not going in the right direction? What are your criticisms? What is your defense of the MOU or whatever the negotiations that are being done? Um, there's the main defense right now for what the Americans are doing is that the MOU is not really a deal. What's written there is not as important as what actually happens, and we have to judge by what actually happens. And the Americans are just holding out a little bit, buying time before the midterms, but they still have the upper hand here. The Islamic Republic is so desperate, and probably beyond the MOU, they're giving so much to the Americans. And once it's all done, it will make a lot more sense. Um, there's a lot, and right now there's a lot of attack on what's happening with President Trump and the way negotiations are going. So that's the defense of it. The attacks are that we're already releasing a lot of money to the Islamic Republic. Where that this was supposed to be based on behavior, based on observable actions. The Islamic Republic hasn't done anything yet, and we've already given them sanctioned relief. We're already giving them releasing frozen assets. They already are receiving more money than they ever received with the JCPOA. This is way worse than the Obama deal. This is horrible. People are saying that they're not going to get any money at all. They're going to get vouchers to spend on food in the United States. Well, I mean, food that they will go sell, obviously, and then they will have money for the food. So obviously, that's not that. That's obviously what's going to happen, and then that money is going to go get spent on drones and missiles and enriching the IRGC and Hezbollah. All of the food that the Islamic Republic is getting from the United States, once the IRGC sells that inside Iran or Lebanon, will go directly into, I don't know, missiles that Hezbollah would be throwing at Israel and northern Israel and everywhere else. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. And this already looks like a worse deal than the Obama deal. That's what the criticism is, right? Another criticism is that everything was going so beautifully in the right direction. The Islamic Republic was so desperate; they were cornered, they were suffocating, and they were running out of money. And now they're getting a breathing room. And if we're going for a deal, now that the Islamic Republic finally is like farther away from the edge of the cliff, the deal, even if we do get a deal, is going to be a deal that is a bit more favorable to the Islamic Republic because they're not as desperate anymore. Again, a lot of defense for the MOU and the negotiations is that just look what's happening within the Islamic Republic, the chaos, the internal fighting, the division. Also, once we send the inspectors inside Iran, that is also going to be humiliating for the Islamic Republic. It's going to look ridiculous. They were acting like they're strong. They got no revenge for their supreme leader. Instead, what they're getting, if the deal goes through, is they're giving up enriched uranium for the sake of corn and wheat, and that would be humiliating as well. Um, but but at the same time, people are so that's the defense for it. The criticism of the MOU and the negotiations is that this has never been about selling corn and wheat. This was supposed to be about uh, making the Islamic Republic surrender. And now we're not doing that anymore. It seems like we're doing the Venezuelan model where Ghalibaf is like Rodriguez, and President Trump seems to be happy with Ghalibaf, and that's what they're going to go with instead of, the Iranian people have been forgotten. And also another criticism is that the President Trump is now saying that they could enrich uranium a little bit, that they could keep some of their ballistic missiles. Of course, that's the only way this works. So we went from saying that they should be not able to enrich uranium at all, and to them not having ballistic missiles, to like let them keep their ballistic missiles, and also let them enrich uranium a little bit. All of a sudden, this is what President Trump's saying right now, and they're saying that, they're trying to sell this corn and wheat to us as if it's a win, but this is not a win. This is just President Trump trying to buy votes, the farmers' votes. And so this is a short-term gain for President Trump during the maybe elections by making the voters happy, but long-term, we're giving more money to the Islamic Republic in a few months, more than when we give to Israel in 10 years. That's what they're saying. Um, eh, and all of the investments that we make in Israel for them to become stronger and being able to defend themselves, all of that is going to be a waste because we're now basically arming both sides. We're supporting Israel to defend itself, but we're arming the enemies of Israel even more by this money that we're releasing to them. So I'm saying all sides of this. You guys can see I keep switching. Like I'm defending it, I'm speaking against it, which I'm pretty sure is going to piss off everybody. Right? Instead, when I'm giving you all sides of this argument, what I'm imagining will happen, like, oh, this is a fair expression of all arguments on both sides. I mean, that's very well done. But what I actually get is fuck you, for speaking against my opinion. This is a fantastic 5D chess move, or this is the worst fucking deal in the history and far worse than the JCPOA. And if you think that this is far worse than the JCPOA, you're going to hate me for defending it. And if you think that this is a 5D chess move, that is makes a lot of sense once it's all done, you're gonna be like, "Fuck you for criticizing it." But yeah, here's where we're at. I'm trying to basically defend it and criticize it at the same time. Hopefully, it's useful to some of you. And okay, so who's who's speaking now? Who wants to respond to this?
Uh, we have a lot of twos. Daniel's first. Daniel.
Just real quick, did we have any solid evidence that the Islamic Republic started to getting the money that is in the MOU?
They have announced that at least 500 million of it has already been done, right? And there's more to come. So they're saying it's going to be up to like, at least from the initially, it's going to be up to 10 billion, and then it's going to be, maybe 24 with the frozen assets, a billion, and then there's going to be 6 billion from the oil sales that they gotten so far. So that would, I think, it would be 30 billion if these numbers are correct. But so far, I think like 500,000 of it has already happened. I don't know what stage of the process we are in at the moment, but I could double check that if you want.
But sorry, who did announce it? Like who told it? The Americans, the IRGC? Who
I
announced it?
don't know where I saw it. It was like on a news site, like not one of the fake ones, like one of the good ones. I think Fox said that. It was Fox mentioned it. Fox. I saw it on Fox News. So if it's wrong, just don't blame me. I could
Okay,
I could
Noah.
do some fact checking while people are speaking. Okay, go on. Noah. Who's next?
It's Noah, but he's not unmuting. Right.
Sorry, I didn't
Noah.
hear my name.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay. Go on.
Well, Yep. All right. Well, I'm not going to criticize you for partially defending it, but I'm perfectly
Hmm.
fine waiting until August. I'm perfectly fine waiting until August until we have to start bombing them again. Because, well, right now the MOU is great ammunition for Democrats for the midterms because of the $300 billion. If it goes through, it will be much worse than the JCPOA. I do agree. And this also has feelings from like 2009 to 2015 when the US thought they could reform the Islamic Republic by putting in reformists or something like that. And we know that's just hogwash. Um, the Islamic Republic cannot be reformed. It has to be destroyed because even if a small amount of it survives, there will be no freedom for Iranians. That's just my take.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. The optimistic take is that with Ghalibaf, if Ghalibaf, in his attempt to gain all power, he has to manage the IRGC and reduce their control over their economy. That would maybe going down that line, we will have a weaker IRGC and easier for the Iranian to topple the regime. That's the optimistic take here. If this is, I mean, here's the thing. One thing that we have to keep coming back to is that the Iranian people will have uprisings again, right? That hasn't changed. And the Iranian people are getting stronger every single time, and the Islamic Republic is getting weaker every time. So if we want to see, if we're looking at this as only like the Israelis and the Islamic Republic and the Americans, I think we're missing out an important part of this calculation, which is the Iranian people. If we add that to the equation, we're still moving towards toppling the regime. Um, and I mean, if the Americans are not focusing on regime change, if that's not their plan, seems like to be more of an Israeli plan than an American plan. Whatever happens that weakens the IRGC because of the negotiations that they're doing might not be as much, might not be what we want, but if that's what we're getting, at least let's hope that it weakens the IRGC in the middle. So we're seeing that the IRGC, like, well, Armin, how is the IRGC getting weaker? They're giving them billions of dollars. I mean, well, to be fair, they lost, probably around a trillion with the Operation Epic Fury and everything else that happened after, right? And they also lost 2 trillion on top of that from everything that they tried to do to get a nuclear program going on, and that's all gone. So true, they're getting more than the JCPOA, but they also lost way more than that. And even if they get all of this, they're still not going to go back to where they were.
Okay, White.
Yeah, I think the problem is Trump doesn't play 5D chess. He's an egomaniac with small dick energy. Whoever whispers into his ear is his master. We have to figure some way to become the Trump whisperer because like I say, is he's surrounded by sycophants, and whoever kisses his ass and whispers it is, he does it because that's why he's always he switches all the time. And it's not 5D chess. It's just that, like I said, he's got small dick energy. Well, that's just what I want to say.
I don't know if it's that easy because remember what he did to Tucker Carlson not long ago. I don't think it's just whoever whispers to him. But I also wanted to attack the defense of the deal. The MOU is words on a page which can't be enforced against the parties, and the sole consequence of not abiding by the MOU is damage to the reputation of the countries for abiding by deals. So if it is true that the published terms of the MOU are fake and are just so that Galibaf can sell them for internal consumption, then it will still damage America's ability to make deals in the future when America doesn't follow those fake terms.
I mean, the MOU is not a deal, though. So there's that. And it is also vague enough for everybody, for President. I mean, the Islamic Republic is already violating everything in the MOU, even if it was a deal, which is not a deal, but even if it was, right? So the United States has enough excuse to do whatever it wants. Is that what does that make sense, Danny? Like there's open, like it's so vague and flexible, and there's so much violation that already is happening that you could do whatever you want.
I'm worried that it won't be seen like this by outside observers. Like people don't analyze that hard. If Iran is, if the Islamic Republic is already not following the deal, and therefore if the US is not required to follow its parts or how it works like that, they'll just see who makes the first really major violation.
Okay, I mean Hezbollah is attacking Israel, and according to the MOU, both parties and their allies should not be attacking each other. So there you go.
Yeah, let's hope it's remembered this way. Okay, sketches.
Yeah, this is a race to disperse the funds. You're taking Iranian funds and using it to subsidize the election. After the midterms, you can bomb all we want. Right? And I'm going to tell you this. We can take the funds, disperse them. It's going to take a long time for that food to get there. So they're not going to be able to sell it quick. It doesn't just magically appear in Iran. That's not how things work. So it would take a long time to get the soy and the corn and all this shit. We could slow roll that. And then we could take it back and say, hey, you broke the deal. So not only am I keeping the money, you're not getting the food because you're breaking the deal. And still subsidize the midterms. And I'm not sure the Iranian people are going to be incredibly mad if that gets confiscated because the IRGC broke the deal, and then we use the win in the midterms to start immediately bombing the second the election is over, and do that for 2 years until we are absolutely sure they're broken to pieces. Like, that's not me being out there. He has done this kind of thing to win elections before. He did this. This was some of the promises he made when he started using tariffs to subsidize the people who voted for him. He's doing the exact same thing he did with the tariffs, but instead of the tariffs, he's using the money that's been confiscated from this evil regime. And I'm going to tell you something. I may be out there. I may be speaking out of turn. But if he uses this money to ensure he wins the midterm and then immediately bombs the ever-loving shit out of the IRGC, no one's going to give a shit in Iran because you got rid of the IRGC.
If that happens,
that's an if. That's an if.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right that if that happens, that would be fucking amazing. Okay. And then what if it doesn't happen? What if after the
do I think it's a smart deal if it goes through as is? Well, this is not a deal. This is a talks towards a deal. This is all conditional on behavior. I mean, you have to ask me to believe the impossible because you have to ask me to believe that Iran is going to keep their side of the MOU. I mean, you're putting me in a hard spot. How can I believe that Iran is going to keep their side of the MOU? Therefore, we're going to give them the money back or we're going to give them whatever. No, if they break the deal, we do whatever the fuck we want. So you're asking me if I stretch and say, okay, IRGC is going to keep their side of the deal, so we're gonna give them the deal. Okay, then it's a terrible deal. But I doubt they're going to keep their side.
So that's not what I'm suggesting. I know IRGC breaks their promises all the time, right? But it is possible, even if they break their, they already have broken their promises. Okay, they do it like every 5 minutes. But it is like, what if even with those violations, there's still no military operations at a significant level by President Trump after the midterms? Then would you criticize it then after, if that happens?
I'm MAGA, make America great again. People make the mistaken assumption that means I worship Trump. MAGA are some of the people that are most critical of Trump, especially on local issues, especially on not being fast enough with immigration, especially about not arresting these disgusting judges, these mayors, these governors, these blue city governors. People make the mistaken assumption that because I'm MAGA, I just worship at Trump's feet. No, if he fucks up, and I'll call him on it. right? This is a stupid assumption by echo chamber leftists. Oh, he's MAGA, therefore he must worship Trump. That's fucking stupid. We criticize him all the time. Every time he talks about his Operation Warp Speed, people fucking boo him. So that's a big assumption that MAGA just worships Trump. That's a misconception. If the midterms pass and the bombs don't start dropping, of course, everybody's going to be mad, and a lot of people are going to be mad if they don't start dropping before. If there's significant breaks and he doesn't do anything, that's also going to be a problem for the midterms. He can't just take the money and push the money out, and something big happens, some people die, some places get bombed, and he doesn't do shit. It won't matter how much money he spreads out. It'll be smart, it'll help, but if he doesn't react, he can take the money, spread it, react before the midterms, and then just have the double power of, hey, I hit him hard, plus I gave you their money. So if he does that, he's smart. If he doesn't do that, wait, let me put the right face on. Okay, let me fix this. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm about to chimp out. Okay, we do like Trump, but only as far as he protects our interests. All right, and he would have to take the money, spread it out. If they break the MOU, if they break the deal, hit him hard. If he takes the money, no matter how many industries he subsidizes, if he takes the money and they do something big that's bad, people are going to be against it no matter what. Conservatives are more policy driven. We're not like cult people. The cult people are the Democrats. They're the ones that went after Kamala, knowing what a horrible person she is, because they have a cult following, and whoever is the leader, the dear leader, they're Xi Jinping, they're Kim Jong-un, they follow. We're not like that. For us, we get pissed at Trump every time his fucking local policy is shit. We got pissed at him about fucking Pam Bondi sending a whole bunch of strongly worded letter and not getting people arrested. At least the new guy is putting out arrest warrants on these governors, on these mayors, on this election fraud. That's what we want. Like the disgusting, stupid echo chamber notion that MAGA doesn't criticize Trump is just retarded.
We got that point. We got that point. Okay, MAGA criticizes Trump, but
okay, I'm gonna go back to Happy Monkey.
Happy Monkey. Okay.
Okay,
but just say yes.
Hi.
Just say yes or no. Yes or no. Okay. No, nothing other than yes or no. If after the midterms, President Trump doesn't go to bombing the Islamic Republic, you would speak against President Trump? On this,
I would chimp out. I would totally chimp out.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Jeffrey next.
Jeffrey. Uncle
let's
Jeff.
go to Jeff next. Oh, he's here. Okay.
He's here.
Sorry about that. I had to take a quick business call. All right, so a couple of things. The MOU isn't some grand diplomatic reset like Obama's fucked up JCPOA. It's a tactical operational pause forced by some very real constraints on the U.S. side. What's the munitions reality? When you have
Jeffrey, your audio is low. Is there a way you could improve your audio? Because you're saying people.
All right, can you hear me better now?
Is this better? Much better.
All right, so the munitions reality. When you have certain member states in NATO, particularly Western NATO states like Spain, United Kingdom, France, and Germany, be like, nah, on the airbase access for the strike packages. It forced the Navy to lean almost entirely on carrier air wings and submarines for the deep strikes, and that burns through TLAMs and JASMs and high-end standoff munitions at a really, really fucking high rate. I've gone through that in other shows, what the open intelligence source estimates show regarding overall percentages and like what that burn rate is to replacement rate and all this other shit, and the fact that President Trump is like implemented numerous national like policies and and executive orders to crash build out our national defense industrial base, producing offensive and critical offensive and defensive munitions that were just were cannibalized by leftists and Ron bots. You can't surge those like critical off standoff munitions the way you can JDAMs off of an air base. So yeah, we're trying to buy time to replenish magazines and reset the fleet, not to run magazines dry with all this other stuff going on everywhere. So not some kind of, it gets annoying as shit because you got never Trumpers, some in this room that are just itching to try and turn it into something that it's not. As far as like comparing Obama's JCPOA to the MOU, nothing alike. Obama's path was a pre-strike diplomacy with the mullah regime that illegally occupies Iran that had not gone full mosaic defense yet, had not fully hardened or dispersed its nuclear and missile sites, and was operating in a much softer strategic environment. There was no active Ukraine war draining Western stocks, Chi-Coms getting ready to hit Taiwan, and all the other shit. Right? He could have hit them very easily in 2009, chose not to, because to him it was like muzzy, same, and he had people like Valerie Jarrett read The Grinch That Stole Islam whispering in his fucking ear. Conversely, President Trump's path came after Iran had, the mullah regime that illegally occupies Iran had years to build exactly a layered, redundant, hardened network. And still, the U.S. plus Israel hit 21,000 targets on the board across mullah-occupied Iran, their proxies in Lebanon. That's not nothing. That's actual degradation of capability. So the mullahs got hit hard enough that the regime is no longer the regime it was prior to those strikes. And the Iranian people's protests and cries for help were part of the equation too, right? It wasn't just Donald had a harder path to strike the mullah regime and chose to in no insignificant manner because he heard the Iranian people that asked for his help. Unlike Obama, who went, yep, you should challenge the election for Ramadan dinner jacket. Oh, shit, cracker. I'm going to sell you out and invite these motherfuckers over for a barbecue. So the MOU's real purpose on the economic side. So there's definitely issues with that. I don't want to belabor the point. I went through the positives and negatives of trying to do things like food aid and, and smart sanctions and all that. The reconstruction money, sanctions relief, and asset releases, at least as they are structured, are deliberately structured to try and starve the regime remnants while giving the population just enough to keep them from suffering unduly. That's why you have food vouchers that are non-fungible and all the rest of the stuff. So it's very, all of that to, well, okay, I'll go through the quick benefits. You have humanitarian for civilians. It boosts American farmers and ag exporters with major sales and staples of corn and wheat and the rest of that to offset the economic damage. It's leverage in the discussions we're having while we're still doing all the stuff we ever have to do. It has some elements within it that tries to limit the redirection of funds, albeit it's not 100%. And it counters propaganda and builds soft power. So the challenges, the regime, if they reject the conditions as violations of whatever, they're going to want unrestricted funds. They can diverge it, they can divert it and, take advantage of enforcement gaps. There's banking and practical hurdles, domestic political backlash in the United States by hawks like me and, others. It has limited real impact regarding punishing the regime. It's true. So those are the pluses and minuses of taking this approach within the broader environment that exists. I'm going to end with this. All of this very much illustrates again why track 2 material support efforts and or third parties supporting things like Operation Sovereign Tide, which is recognizing His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi and the transitionary government as the official government in exile, to streamline all these legal gates so that we can then support lawful unconventional combatants that can then liberate things like very large oil tankers and then sell them bring them back to a port that is friendly, sell them on the market, I would contend disproportionately or targeted sales that help out the alliance, is exactly what needs to happen. Period. Right? So all this bullshit and hullabaloo and constant every fucking day, it's just goddamn exhausting. Oh my God, is this the time to fucking shit on Donald? I'm going to say it again. It's never the time to shit on Donald. He's your fucking president, and there's nothing you can do about it. if you shoot him and assassinate him, you're going to have Vance. So I don't know, maybe just shut the fuck up and stop trying to turn this into like fuck Donald Day, because that doesn't do anybody any goddamn good, especially Iranian resistance. Period.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. Samantha is next. Is there Samantha?
Yeah, I see her. Guys, be ready when it's your turn to open your mic.
Yeah, maybe I'll post the list in the chat more often. Okay, I'm gonna skip to.
Wait, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was having trouble with my. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a terrible deal. I think the only possible way you could argue that this was a good idea is if you can make the tactical retreat argument for this. And, you know, a tactical retreat argument implies that we're going to be in a stronger position to fight them later. And the only way I could see that being true,
Samantha, we can't make out your sound.
the
It's
midterms
robotic.
things would go in such a
Samantha, you're going robotic. Your audio
okay.
is great. I don't know why your audio is getting worse and worse every day.
I think maybe your internet is bad right now. Maybe type it in the chat.
Yeah, your audio is getting worse by the second.
Okay. Does this work now?
You're back now.
Does this work now?
Yes,
go
it
ahead.
works now. So just make your point before it gets worse again.
I mean,
All right. Nope. Nope.
Too late.
You went back.
Like,
You went back to being robotic. So let's move on to the next person. Really bad. So you could type it in the chat if you want. Okay.
I'll move on to Richard, and Samantha, type the rest of your point in the chat. I'll read it for you after. Okay, Richard, go ahead.
Thanks a lot. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to add, you know, I big picture here, just given how much the regime's been weakened and how much the Iranian people have been strengthened, I'm confident, optimistic in a long-term resolution in Iran. I think the MOU and a lot of the negotiations are very foolish because they're betting on a short-term gain that likely won't happen. I'm talking about the midterms. All the data I'm seeing polling, you know, basically the energy on the left. I don't think there's any stopping the blue wave, and Trump is probably doing more to fracture his base with the back and forth Iran stuff. And I don't think he'll be able to sell it to the isolationists who Vance is constantly preaching to, regardless of what happens. So I suspect that I think probably in the aftermath of the midterms, this whole thing might be very widely criticized. You know, 2020 hindsight, basically saying, "Look what we gave up relative to what we thought we would get, and it didn't stop the blue wave." We probably can expect nonsense investigations, Trump impeachments, all that fun stuff, just like 2016, 2018, last time. That's my prediction. I'm just going on the record with that, but we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, that's the last two that we have. So let's go to super chats. I know you like the word super chats.
Okay, yes. Let's read the super chats. Somebody was asking what kind of tea I'm drinking. It's strawberry tea. But let me read the super chats. Okay. So Shen is saying Magnum Opus Armand. Dijal, thanks for the help. Pax. I don't know what this means. Can somebody translate? Dijal, thanks for the help. PAX. Okay, I think this is a message for Dijal. If anybody understands, tell me. But thank you.
Someone is thanking Bijal and peace. Pax kind of like means peace. Like, hey, thanks to Bijal, peace.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the translation. And thank you for the super chat. Fleshy Interloper. Huh?
Who's thanking me?
Somebody in the chat was thanking you. You want me to read it again? So it's Shen Nung 420 was thanking you. All right. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Fleshy Fleshy Interloper, thank you for the super chat saying critical oil products were weeks from running out. Yeah, that's why I think that maybe they could have received. The Islamic Republic was so desperate, and I think the Americans could have asked for more, given how desperate they were. And we got another super chat. Justin saying one thing that's got my eyebrow raised is Graham, Lindsey Graham, I think I mean, has been beating the war drum for regime change this whole time until his 4.5 hour meeting with Trump the other day. Now he is all about the deal. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know what happened in that 4 hours. He was starting to criticize the MOU and the deal. I don't know what Trump showed him, or was there a 5D chess plan that was revealed to him in that 4 hours? Because he's now all for the MOU and getting to a deal and everything. I don't know what happened in that 4 hours, but that's very interesting. Yeah, I saw that as well. Just a very interesting point. Shauna, thank you so much for the super chat saying Iran could break the deal and we could ignore it. Yep, I know that's exactly what I was thinking when I asked Sketch, what if, because they violate the deal all the time, if there is, they violate the agreement ceasefire all the time, and President Trump still calls it a ceasefire, so they could violate any deal that they sign, and we could pretend that they didn't. So again, Sketch said that if that happens, he's going to chimp out. So can't wait to see. I hope that doesn't happen, but at least if it happens, we get to see that. Justin, thank you so much for the super chat saying the presumption for Trump waiting till after midterms is because of oil prices. Yes, MAGA doesn't like high oil prices, but they hate embarrassment more. Interesting. I don't know what MAGA wants, because I think there are so many different definitions of MAGA, and it's kind of different MAGA people are takfiring each other. I don't know if you know what takfir is. What's the English word for that? When you basically announce somebody not part of your camp anymore, is like, I don't forget. When the Catholics basically
Declaring someone to be an infidel.
no, when there's a English word when you basically announce somebody as not a Catholic anymore.
Announce.
No,
Or
excommunicate.
Excommunicate. So there's so many different people saying, I'm MAGA, you're not real MAGA. There's a lot of excommunication happening. So what MAGA really is, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't think there's a clear definition of what MAGA is. If MAGA is pro-Trump, then yeah, maybe. And thank you for Justin for the super chat. Amir with a super chat saying Israel is sick and tired to be the new, what is this? Saguntum? I don't know how to pronounce this. Danny, do you know what this is about?
Saguntum, it's some city in Spain. I remember there was some battle there from the ancient Romans, the famous one, but I don't remember much else.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Amir. Fleshy Interloper saying out of standard missiles, SM2s. So Jeffrey, really short answer. Fleshy is asking for clarification. Are the Americans out of standard missiles, SM2s?
So I think they mean SM3 and 6s, and we burned through a very large percentage of our global stocks of both SM3 interceptors, which is one of our more important legs of our global missile defense system, that's sea-based mid-course on Arleigh Burke Aegis cruisers and destroyers, and SM6 standard missiles, which can do both offensive and defensive. We burned through a lot of them, and not the least of which is because the 4 member states of NATO that I outlined, not all of NATO, fucked us and didn't let us use our air bases when we did our strategic bomber bed down, right? To then use them to go along with the strikes that we did out of our carriers and our subs. So now we're in the position we're in, which is why now you have the head of NATO visiting here, who's going to get a hell of a talking to.
Just
I looked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you go ahead, Danny.
I looked up the Battle of Saguntum, and it was the first battle in the Second Punic War. where Hannibal was sieging them, and they asked Rome for help, and Rome did not send help. So what he means is that Israel shouldn't be like abandoned when they need help.
Okay, okay. I would really, Jeffrey, I don't know if you could answer this in like one sentence or not, but wouldn't it take years to replace these, like restockpile these missiles, if that's the issue?
Yeah, that's actually why President Trump signed the executive order to do a crash build out of our national defense industrial base with a
Yeah,
specific
no, just say
focus on
just
those.
say yes or no, because if it takes years, then we're not going to be able to go back to kinetic military operations against the Islamic Republic.
That's not
If
true.
it
So, yes, that said, there are other ways to put warheads on foreheads. We just have to
Okay.
juggle things because certain people fucked us.
Okay. And then Flesh Interloper with another super chat saying how to keep straight open militarily. Jeffrey, you want to answer this? Again, 30 seconds if you can, so we could get to the next topic. Sir, I know it's hard to answer that in 30 seconds.
I mean, optimally, it would be we did 5x5, a mass bombing campaign to kill the rest of the regime and eliminate the repressive elements so that they wouldn't have the ability to do any of the stupid shit they're doing now. That said, it would have to focus on our heavy bombers, and that would have to require some other things. And, hopefully those Western NATO countries don't fuck us again, which I'm pretty sure Trump is going to punish them because they fucked us.
Here's a short answer: arm the Iranian people so they could do the regime change, and then you don't have to open the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. Thank you, I got it. Clap. Shauna with a super chat saying, "I'm an American. I'm allowed to shit on whoever I damn please. Presidents can be criticized." So I think that's a response to Jeffrey telling people not to shit on President Trump. He's saying, as an American, I can shit on whatever president I want. And then we got another super chat by Noah. Thank you so much, Noah, the Persian American, saying, "I do believe what Jeffrey and you said, and I am grateful for the reminder that the MOU is not a deal. I just want my ancestral homeland free." Yes, so do I, Noah. So do I, and we will, like, whatever happens, we'll keep fighting. And it will be free. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. And thank you. Fleshy Interloper with a super chat saying, "Big Japanese for minesweepers?" Question mark. I think Americans have their own minesweepers. No, they're pretty sophisticated minesweepers. And thank you, Fleshy. And then Selectivist saying, "Why is criticism of Trump was totally valid? Usual suspect sycophants have no right to tell him to shut the F up. Shameful and apology in order." Well, I mean, I think Wyatt has every right to speak about President Trump the way he wants. But I also think that people who want to respond aggressively, they also have the right to respond aggressively, right? So I think Wyatt has the right to be very aggressive with his criticism to President Trump, and the people who want to respond to him aggressively because of his criticism, they also have that right? It works both ways. And thank you for the super chat.
Jeffrey wanted to respond about minesweepers.
So the reason we have an issue with minesweepers is Biden actually like decommissioned a lot of our minesweepers. They're a bit older. We are leveraging things like underwater drones, like autonomous drones, to sweep for mines. So we're doing that. Thank God we invested in that. If we didn't have Biden do that, we wouldn't have had to ask Japan for that. And not for nothing, I'm not saying people shouldn't voice their conscience. I'm saying there's a difference between voicing what you observe, like legitimate criticisms, and or just co-opting challenges that we're facing without any idea or care in the world what underwrites those challenges to serve a partisan goal. Like there are many things that I hated President Biden for, and I had legitimate personal and professional reasons to do so, including the fact his crackhead son stole my work regarding Ukraine. I supported the office of the president when it came to things like supporting our Ukrainian allies. And that also applies now with people who don't like the guy in the White House now. If you really care about Iranian people, then it very much that kind of observation you need to have, like you should be, what is it? You should have you should support the office of the president. That doesn't mean always agreeing. It means if you disagree, it should be rational, not like a bullshit verbal war of an emotional attrition. Like that's not honest shit. I think Iranian resistance and the kids that died deserve far better than that. Just like Ukrainians that died in resisting Putin's legal war of aggression, Ukraine deserved me supporting the office of the president or a guy I didn't like.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Let's move on to the list. First, I have Daniel, and his topic is Out and About War in Iran.
All right, go ahead, Daniel.
Well, so the first thing is like not so connected to Iran, but actually, this is the first time in about the last 20 years that the Vice President of the United States has any significant role. And like, I don't know, maybe he really tries to play his own game and be the isolationist, or maybe this is just another trick like they played with Tucker Carlson.
Dick
This is
Cheney
the first
was,
thing. The other,
Dick Cheney was very influential when it came to the Iraq War.
well, like it is Iraq war, but it's more than 20 years.
Oh, okay. Okay. Seems just like yesterday to me. Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is, while there is so-called deal with Iran, Ukraine actually takes out all the oil infrastructure of Russia, like not all of it, but the critical, the most critical points. And I think it's kind of a little try to supply some oil while Russia is getting bombed. I don't know. Like this is maybe somebody has to comment on it. And while the last thing is, while everyone talks about Israel has been like thrown under the bus, but is it so? Because like I think it's more of a little play before US gonna make a move towards Cuba.
I
Like
don't know what
they are all.
what kind of a play justifies speaking so shitty about Israel. I mean, if it's a 5D chess plan up there, there's a lot of damage control we need to do after this. Israel is right now. The Israel in the United States is the view on Israel is getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and this is not good for Israel. And having the president of the United States come out and speak against Israel like that, is like a catalyst to how fast the Americans are turning against Israel. So if this is a 5D chess plan for something much bigger, it better be really, really fucking good because the damage that is being done to Israel is devastating right
Yeah, my hope is also on that as an Israeli, but like seriously, this MOU thing is about a week on the media and everybody like going nuts about it, but it's a memorandum of understanding. They're like signing a paper that says that they will
now.
that they are willing
Okay, so
to understand.
that's so. I'm not talking about the MOU. The MOU is just an MOU. It's not a deal. Okay, and whatever happens might be different from the MOU. But the statements against Israel, okay, those are here to stay with us. That is going to turn many people who support President Trump they're going to now have a negative view on Israel. It's becoming a bigger and bigger thing in the United States to shit on Israel. It's becoming like everybody on all sides. Like we have the left, we have the the woke right, and now we have a huge part of MAGA also joining in on this.
Well, just for my perspective, like, is it worse when Obama Biden were the presidents? Like,
Surprisingly,
I really try to understand.
that's is what surprisingly, because the statements against Israel right now and under a Republican administration is more aggressive than any other, like even Democrat administrations. That's why this is very surprising. Like we haven't seen any statements like this against the White House against Israel from the White House since, I don't know, the Suez Canal situation.
Because America has the best strategists. Like they know how to do like regime changes in place like Chile and other places. So eh, I don't know. It's like it's hard to understand why would the best strategists in the world go and tell Trump like, oh, take JD Vance and tell him shit on Israel.
Because the
I don't
strategist
know.
because the goal of the strategist is to win elections. Maybe because the goal is different from what you have in mind. Maybe the strategists are not retarded. Maybe the strategists are actually very smart, but they have different goals.
Okay, Noah has a response.
I know that as a Christian, any criticism against Israel made by Republicans, it's very turned off. Like it turns a lot of people off, especially evangelical Christians who are the majority of Trump's base. So so they can, like, they may choose not to vote at all. So they may just say, well, if Trump is going to criticize Israel like that, I'm just not going to vote. I'm personally not saying that. But I know a lot of people on the evangelical right are turned off by this. So
One thing I'm going to predict is that at some point President Trump is going to come out and say so many positive things about Israel and Bibi, and then people are going to come to us and say like, see, that was all just a show. You guys should have waited, and then we wait, and then at some point he's going to go say something negative against Bibi again, and then it's going to go back to positive, and then negative and positive, and it's a roller coaster, guys. We just should just enjoy the ride. I mean, yeah, whatever. All right, who's next?
Sketch with one more response.
You kind of said what I was going to say. We're what? How many months out from an election? You think what is said now matter? Let's go back through any midterm, any presidential campaign, and see how much what is said this far out matters.
All right, thank you, Sketch. Do we have super chats?
We have one gift basket from Amir with 5 membership gifts to the people in the chat. Thank you so much, Amir, for the gift basket. 5 people are now members because of Amir. Thank you, Amir the Cricket. Appreciate that. So thank you. My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.